श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। श्री नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा देवी की जय। यमुना देवी की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते कृतदासधिकारीति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So welcome once again all the devotees. Hare Krishna. So today we will read from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3 Chapter 1 verse number 37. So we'll recite the verse. किं वा कृतागेश्व अघम atyamarṣī bhīmo hivad dīrghatamaṁ vyamuñcat yasyāṅghri-pātaṁ raṇa-bhūr sehe mārgaṁ gadāyāś carato vicitram। किं वा कृतागेषु अघम atyamarṣī bhīma hivad dīrghatamaṁ vyamuñcat yasyāṅghri-pātaṁ raṇa-bhūr sehe mārgaṁ gadāyāś carato vicitram। किं वा कृतागेषु अघम atyamarṣī भीमः हिवत् दीर्घतमं vyamuñcat yasyāṅghri-pātaṁ raṇa-bhūr sehe mārgaṁ gadāyāś carato vicitram। Hare Krishna. Devotees can recite.
Hare Krishna. Dīrghatamaṁ, Prabhu, if you mind me singing a different tune for us, because
No
this one.
please go ahead.
Okay. All right. Hare Krishna. Kim vāgiteshva gam atyamarṣī bhīmo hivad dīrghatamaṁ vimuñcat yasyāṅghri-pātaṁ raṇa-bhūr sehe mārgaṁ gadāyāś carato vicitram. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else?
Kim va kṛtāgheṣv gam atyamarṣī bhīmo hivad dīrghatamaṁ vyamuñcat yasyāṅghri-pātaṁ raṇa-bhūr mārgaṁ gadāyāś carato vicitram. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Shin Prabhu. So nice to see you. Hare Krishna. Anyone else would like to recite?
Hare
So,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please go ahead.
Kim va agham atyamarṣī bhīmo hivad vyamuñcat yasyāṅghri-pātaṁ raṇa-bhūr sehe mārgaṁ gadāyāś carato vicitram. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Okay. Word to word meanings. Kim, whether, va, either, krit, performed, agheshu, unto the sinners, agham, anger, atyamarṣī, unconquerable, bhīma, bhīm, hivad, like a cobra, dīrghatamaṁ, long-cherished, vyamuñcat, has released, yasya, whose, yasyāṅghri-pātaṁ, putting on the steps, raṇa-bhūr, the field of battle, na, could not, sehe, tolerate, mārgaṁ, the path, gadāyāś, by the clubs, carato, playing, vicitram, wonderful. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Please tell me whether the unconquerable Bhīma, who is like a cobra, has released his long-cherished anger upon the sinners. The field of battle could not tolerate even the wonderful playing of his club when he stepped on the path. Purport: Vidura knew the strength of Bhīma. Whenever Bhīma was on the battlefield, his steps on the path and the wonderful playing of his club were unbearable for the enemy. Powerful Bhīma did not take steps against the sons of Dhritarashtra for a long time. Vidura's inquiry was whether he had yet released his anger, which was like that of a suffering cobra. When a cobra releases its venom, after long cherished anger, its victim cannot survive. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this verse from Canto 3, Chapter 1, we'll try to take some points based on the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and what I have heard from other Vaishnavas, other devotees. So the context of this verse is, we are all meeting, I think, after a long weekend. I think there was a class yesterday and the verse number 36. So Sri Vidura, who is on his pilgrimage, he has met with Sri Uddhav Maharaj, and from Sri Uddhav Maharaj, now he is asking about the news of the family of Lord Krishna. Each and every member of his family members, Vidur Maharaj is asking about all the close family members, and Pandavas were very close to Krishna. Now, when in the classes we say, we should talk about Krishna and about Krishna's qualities, names, his pastimes. So why not Sri Vidura is asking about Krishna directly? But that's the point. Everything related to Krishna is Krishna himself. So even any activities of Krishna or activities of his close family members or his devotees, pure devotees, is also Krishna's pastime. Actually, we were hearing few days back I forgot, was it Anand Rupa Mataji when she was taking the class? Very good point that came up, that Krishna's devotees, they are the one actually who enriches Krishna's pastime. Krishna's pastimes become more wonderful, more sweet because of his devotees. And in Vraj also, in Vrindavan, there is a saying, there is a poem that says, Bhakta Bhakti Bhagavan Guru Chatur Naam Eke, meaning devotee, Bhakta, devotion, Bhakti, Bhagavan meaning Krishna, and Guru, spiritual master. So devotion, devotee, Krishna, and Shri Guru, of course a bona fide Vaishnava Guru, they come in different forms. They sound like four different words, but in reality they are, all four are one. So whether we talk about a bona fide spiritual master, or Shri Krishna, or a pure devotee of Shri Krishna, or about the process of devotion, actually we are talking about Krishna. So that's a very foundational point that we should understand. And in the same way, speaking about or reading about or hearing about Krishna's pure devotees is not different from Krishna Katha. And this particular verse we are seeing in this section now, when Vidur Maharaj is inquiring about each and every family member, close family member of Lord Krishna, now he is asking about Pandavas. So in the previous verse we saw he inquired about the eldest Pandava, Maharaj Yudhishthira, and now younger to Yudhishthira Maharaj is Bhīma, and he is inquiring about Bhīma. So intimately he is asking about each and every family member. In this particular verse we will see how it glorifies Bhīma's power, his extraordinary power. Also it glorifies his anger. Anger in material sense is not considered as a quality, right? But when it is used in the service of Krishna, in the service of devotees, it becomes glorified. And how Krishna protects his devotees, we will also see some discussion on that. So the main theme here is how we can connect, how devotees can connect even anger to Krishna to become purified. So one basic difference between material anger and the anger of a conditioned soul versus the anger of a liberated soul. The difference is material anger destroys our consciousness. It brings down our consciousness. But the spiritual anger means when this same anger is used in the service of Krishna, in the mission of Krishna, in the service of devotees, under the right direction, of course, right? Otherwise we can justify our wrong anger also. Then same spiritual anger or Krishna conscious anger protects dharma and devotees. So that is a very, very important point. Now here we see in the verse Bhīma, there is a comparison about a Bhīma who is like a cobra. So usually if we compare somebody with serpent or snake, it's not a very glorified comparison, or it's not a very nice comparison. So thing to understand here is, actually it's not that Vidur Maharaj is comparing Bhīma with a snake or cobra. He is comparing his anger with a cobra to put the point. Both are Mahabhagavats, both are pure devotees, both Vidur Maharaj and Bhīma. So Vidur Maharaj cannot, even in dreams cannot use comparison. So Vidur Maharaj has not compared Bhīma himself to a serpent, but he is comparing his anger to a snake or cobra. So why he is doing that? Because if we see, if the if a snake, if a serpent holds his venom, doesn't bite anybody for a long time, and it holds his venom for a long period of time, that poison, that venom becomes much more concentrated, and the power and quantity of that poison increases multiple times when it is not used. So Vidur Maharaj he knew that how Bhīma was very angry on Kauravas because of whatever injustice, adharma they have done. So he was accumulating lot of anger for long period of time. If we consider what was that long period of time, it was more than 13 years when Pandavas were sent to exile and then for incognito, right? But actually, since childhood, there was lot of injustice was done to Pandavas. So Bhīma has lot of stocked up anger. That pile was big. So he is asking Uddhav Maharaj, did that anger ever got released? Did Bhīma got the chance to release that anger? This is the question that is being put forward by Vidur Maharaj in this verse. So, in short, he is asking that Bhīma released his anger and killed all the Kauravas, because Mahabharata war was already happened, but Vidur Maharaj didn't had all the information because he was on the pilgrimage, and at that time there was no news channel, or on his pilgrimage in the devotional mood, inquiring from various sages and becoming advanced in devotional life. So he had no idea what's going on in the Kurukshetra. So he is inquiring, he was concerned about Bhima's extraordinary anger. So we see in our lives also, when anger is suppressed for a long time, one might be able to suppress his anger for a long time. But what happens ultimately? Like a pressure cooker, ultimately it releases. And when it releases like that, after suppressing for a long time, it takes even more dangerous form. So it is important to vent out. If we have anger, so under somebody's guidance, we can, modestly vent it out at the right time. So that's what Vidur Maharaj was concerned about. Now, this verse also gives us a very good opportunity to discuss about the character of powerful Bhīma and some of the stories associated with his life, his character also. Because there are some wrong ideas, some misconceptions about Bhīma. People just think that he had a heavy body, he was very fat, he was very angry. Probably all of us, when think about Bhīma, that's the first picture comes to our mind, that he was big, fat and very angry. But that was not at all. He was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. We'll try to discuss some of that. Of course, he has experienced a lot of anger. At the same time, he was very sensitive, very compassionate also. How do we understand that? So all of us know, before the battle of Kurukshetra happened, Mahabharata happened, war happened, Pandavas sent peace proposal to Kauravas, because Pandavas never wanted big fight to happen. They knew it will be disastrous. They knew it will be a very big fight, and it will cause a lot of casualties. So they sent a peace proposal, not just once. Pandavas sent that peace proposal 3 times. First, a Brahmana from Pandavas' side was sent to Kauravas. Second time, Vidur Maharaj was sent for the peace proposal. And it was Vidur Maharaj, or I'm forgetting the name of that second time who went. So, sorry, Sanjay was sent, who is who was the minister, not the minister, but who dictated or who narrated the Mahabharata war to Dhritarashtra himself. The second time Sanjay was sent. And then finally, even with both times the peace proposal didn't work out because of the arrogance of Kauravas, especially Duryodhan, Sri Krishna, the Supreme Lord, himself was sent, or he even volunteered. So when Sri Krishna was going to Kauravas with the peace proposal, Bhīma personally urged him, requested him that please, O Madhav, please make every possible effort to stop this war. Think about it. Bhīma, who had taken the vow to kill all the 100 Kauravas personally. Not that any Pandava or any soldier from Pandava's side will kill them. I will personally kill all the 100 Kauravas, including Duryodhan. That was the vow he took. And he's requesting Krishna to see if he can stop the war. So this was very interesting. Why he did that? Because he was, as much as powerful he was very compassionate also. He knew that of course they will win, but that victory will come at a very, very big cost. Of so many lives will be killed. So he was just not angry man or angry young man or angry big man. He also had a lot of sensitivity and compassionate, lot of intelligence also, maturity. There is a verse that also comes in Bhagavad Gita. Paundaram dadamau mahashankham bhīma karma vrakodaraha. What other thing comes to our mind when we think about Bhīma? That he had a big body, right? He used to eat a lot. That's another conception, idea people have. That this verse says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhīma, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks. Herculean task means big tasks that not ordinary or even a extraordinary person can do. Even much more tasks. He blew his terrific conch shell called Pondra. The name of his conch shell was Pondra. So the voracious eater, the word used is Vrakodraha. So in that verse, the purport of that verse, Srila Prabhupada explains that the term Bhīma Karma signifies one who is capable of performing the most monumental Herculean tasks. And his activities were truly superhuman. And that the term Vrakodara signifies that one who eats voraciously, one who consumes excessive amounts of food, right? So people just know that he used to eat a lot, but at the same time, one of the other fact is he was a great cook. And how we know that? So when Pandavas completed their exile, all the years of exile, then they had to live for 1 year in incognito mode. That nobody should be able to recognize them. Otherwise, they will have to again go through the 12 years of exile. So they were living in incognito mode with different names, different activities. At that time, Bhīma, he lived in the kingdom of Virat, Maharaj Virat, and with the name Vallabha. His name was Vallabh, and he was serving there as a royal cook. He got the job of royal cook there. So he was a great cook also. So, and he was just not fat. He had a very, it's like when we see the wrestlers, big wrestlers, they have big bodies. Doesn't mean that they are fat, right? So he had a very, very athletic body. Not really athletic, but it's a well-shaped body, but big body. Actually, in his composition known as Mahabharata Tatparya, Srila Madhvacharya, he writes that the true hero of Mahabharata was none other than Bhīma. Usually people think Arjuna was the real hero. Of course, Krishna was the orchestrator of everything, but here the person who killed most of the enemies was Arjuna. That's the conception people have, but Madhvacharya writes that Bhīma was the real hero. So actually all the five Pandavas, they were extraordinary in their own capacities. So but Srila Madhvacharya claims that Bhīma was the superhero of the whole war. Other activities, superhuman activities or Herculean tasks that Bhīma did, he killed the demon Hidamba and he also killed Jarasandha. So in Mahabharata, all these stories come. The story of Jarasandha is very, very interesting. With Jarasandha, he fought for 28 days and it was impossible to kill Jarasandha because when Jarasandha was born, his name was not Jarasandha, but his father actually performed a lot of austerities, severe penances, and then eventually a sage, he handed over divine fruit as a boon to Jarasandha's father at that time. And the instruction given to him was by the sage that this fruit has to be given to the only one of his queens. But king, because he was attached to both the queens, out of love, he gave a portion of that fruit to each of his queens. And as a result, what happened, each queen gave birth to a child, but they were half, like they were incomplete. So it is like two halves of that both the queens delivered. Now that was practically a dead child. Both the pieces were dead. So eventually they were because they were useless, they were discarded and were thrown in a river. But later a demoness with the name Jara, she found those two pieces, and by her mystic powers she joined them and gave life to that person who manifested after she joined the two pieces, and she presented it back to the same king, right? And that's why the name of that child became Jarasandha, because he was joined by Jara, that demoness, and Sandhi means joined. She joined both the pieces and gave life to that particular body. So due to that incident, that Jarasandha was very, very powerful, and after 28 days of battle, Shri Krishna himself has to reveal to Bhīma that you cannot kill him like, with your arms or with your mace or in any way, but you will have to cut him into half from the same spot when he was joined, and that's how he was able to kill that mighty Jarasandha. And it was a big relief on the earth, because he was a very, very adharmic king. When Mother Draupadi was humiliated in the assembly of Kuru, we all know that pastime. Bhīma made a very, very aggressive vow that he will break Duryodhana's thigh, he will kill him, he will punish Dushashan, and he will kill all the Kauravas personally. Here it may sound like very harsh vow by Bhīma, but actually he was acting as Krishna's instrument. To take these vows, to become instrument in the hand of Krishna to kill this arrogant Kauravas who were creating injustice all over the earth. Agare kurunamath pandavanam दुःशासनेहार्थवस्त्रकेशा कृष्णा तदाक्रोशदनन्यनाथा गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति. So when Dushashan held Mother Draupadi by her hair, dragged her, and she was insulted, Bhīma made these vows. He took these vows. Now in the battle of Mahabharat, Bhīma, so how big was the Kauravas army? Kauravas army it consisted of 11 akshana. That was the measurement they used at that time to calculate the strength of the army. So 11 akshani army. What one akshani means? One akshani itself comprises 21 8,000 chariots. Please hear this carefully. How just one akshani means? One akshani means a group of 21,800 chariots, 21,800 elephants, 65,600 horses, and more than 100,000 soldiers. This was just one akshani, and Kauravas had 11 multiplied by this figure I just gave to you. So that was a mighty army Kauravas had. And out of this 11 akshani army, Bhīma alone he destroyed 6 akshani army, more than half what Kauravas had. He single-handedly wiped out more than half of Kauravas army. He was such a brave personality. It is mentioned that during the war, he would sometimes fight on the chariot, from the chariot, and sometimes he will just walk with his mace on the ground, battlefield. Big Bhīma. And whenever he will set his foot on the ground of that battlefield, because he had the power of 10,000 elephants, the earth will shake wherever he will walk. And we'll try to cover also how he got those strength of that 10,000 elephants. But he was so ferocious warrior. It is also mentioned that when he used to walk on the battlefield or on the chariot, when he was on the chariot, one can only see his eyes and teeth. The white portion of the eyes and white teeth. Rest all was used to be drenched in blood all the time. So he was ferocious. He was very, very dangerous to the enemies. So such a brave personality he was. Now he was just not known for his bravery, not just for being a very great fighter, but also for his wisdom. So the pastime comes where just before the war was going to happen, before the war, when Pandavas were going on the exile, when they were given the exile, they have to live in the forest for 13 years, 12 years of exile plus 1 year of agyatavas, living in disguise, in incognito mode, like our browsers, web browsers have incognito mode. So it was Bhīma. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was very concerned that that we should just renounce the world. Why to go through all this? We should not fight. But it was Bhīma who consoled Yudhishthira Maharaj. No, that we should not renounce the world. We should accept what this kal, this time is presenting to us. We should accept, and at the right time we will claim back what we rightfully have is ours, for the sake of justice, to establish dharma. So he has lot of wisdom. He was very intelligent, just not a fighter or not insensitive fighter. and he was actually perfect devotee of Krishna. When when Dronacharya was killed in the battlefield, his son Ashwathama, he released, out of anger, he released a very, very great weapon. The name of the weapon was Narayan Ashtra. And it is the Astra, there is no, nothing can neutralize it, nothing can destroy it. So at that time, Krishna being on the side of Pandavas, he instructed everyone to just completely surrender to that weapon, Narayana Astra. Because the quality of that Astra was, that weapon was, if nobody retaliates, it can't do anything. So it has a mystical power that whatever one is thinking, if one is thinking, oh, I should fight with this weapon, I should reciprocate with this weapon, then that weapon will personally come and kill that person one by one. So it has a mystical power. But if you just become very neutral, do nothing, then it will reciprocate in the same way, like Krishna reciprocate. It will do nothing. So Krishna advised, completely surrender. But Bhīma, being a mighty warrior, he was not afraid of anything. He wanted to still fight. But because Krishna instructed, he took a back step. He surrendered to Krishna and to that Krishna's Astra also, which was released by the opposite party. So in that way, Pandavas were saved from this Narayana Astra. And we already saw how Bhīma requested Krishna that do everything you can to stop the war. So we also see his wisdom there, his maturity there. So actually Krishna, because Krishna had a brotherly relationship, a friendly relationship with Pandavas, they used to joke with each other also. So when Bhīma requested that, he should do everything to stop the war, Krishna actually jokingly said, you know what, I know, at the times of war, even the greatest of warriors, they become fearful. Just joking that Bhīma is fearful of the war. That's why he is requesting. So Krishna, then Bhīma told Krishna, no, it's not that I'm afraid, but I don't want any unnecessary violence to occur. So sometimes when people say, oh, how come Pandavas, Krishna allowed so many killings? Because no option was left. Sometimes it is said, oh, so why so much bloodbath, so much violence in Krishna Leelas? Because that's the last resort when nothing else was helping to establish dharma, then Krishna had to orchestrate all that. And his devotees had to take a stand. Krishna's devotees are not passive. When there is an attack on dharma, when there is an attack on devotees, they take a stand. They are not just sitting at home at that time. So this also shows Bhīma was not a mindless fighter. He had a sensitive heart also. Now we also know the incident of Lakshagriha, when the Pandavas were it was the Duryodhana, he tried to kill them in the house of wax by burning them. At that time, Bhīma personally carried all the Pandavas and Mother Kunti upon his shoulder, and he took them to the safe passage towards the forest. He saved them. Single-handedly he took all of them on his shoulder. Actually that place, it was in the Mahabharata, the name of the place where this incident happened is mentioned as Varna-bhūr. So in today's age, some people say all these stories are made up stories, some mythology, who knows it happened or not. But actually this place is still existing in India. Now the original name was Varna-bhūr, now it has become Barnava. So if you find that place on Google, It is in Uttar Pradesh, that is state of India. And there is still that tunnel there through which Pandavas escaped to save themselves from the house of wax, from Lakshagra. So all these places still exist. In Dwarka also, there's in the excavations in ocean, so many things are coming up now that proves that 5,000 years back there was a big city in Dwarka, and lot of archaeological surveys are being done on those things. So these stories are not mythology, they are real stories. It happened. So we should be able to convince others also in case they doubt. Now, let's see, we have 15 more minutes. So there are a lot of similar pastimes of Bhīma, which shows his power, his how powerful he was, how intelligent he was, how matured he was. So the question comes is, usually this anger is taken as a negative quality. So it is actually labeled as a defect, right, in the material world. So big question arises that how to justify it in the Krishna conscious way. So even when we talk about 6 anarthas, right, we say Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya. Kam, Krodh, so anger, it comes in those 6 anarthas. So how to understand that then, right? So when anger is coming out from the platform of Rajaguna or from the platform of Tamoguna, then definitely it is negative. When we are expressing that anger because some desire we had is not getting fulfilled, some expectations which we had is not getting fulfilled from others, some situation which is not favorable to us, which was unwanted, unasked for, that happens. Then because we are self-centered at that time, thinking about ourselves, then it is a defect. But when same anger is used in the service of Krishna, in the service of devotees, to save the devotees, to save the dharma, to make the demons fearful, then it becomes glorified. So in Bhagavad Gita also, so the journey of anger is mentioned in this verse. Dhyayato veshayan punsha sangaste upajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodha abhijayate. How does anger comes? Usually when there is an attachment to something. When there is attachment, dhyayato veshayan, when there is attachment to something, then due to that attachment, due to the association of that particular thing, a desire comes. And when the desire is not fulfilled, or it is partially fulfilled, not to the level we want, to the degree we want to get it fulfilled, then krodha, anger, is manifested. Just like even in today's world, when we see a lot of advertisements, lot of marketing, these social media promises so many things. Just take an example of any product, toothpaste or soap or anything, and they glorify it so much that it will change your whole world, you will become the most beautiful person or whatnot, and we get attracted by that product, use that product, and of course we know there is only no impact or partial impact of that product on us, and then we become angry, depending on how strong our desire was, right? So that is the material anger. But spiritual anger is when we use it in the service of Krishna. So that was the difference between Bhīma and Duryodhana. Duryodhana's anger was not shastric. It was not based on dharma. It was based on envy, matsarya. So that is one way to understand how Bhima's anger was glorified. We see similar thing in the case of how Hanuman, he used his anger to burn the whole Lanka. Madhavacharya, Srila Madhavacharya, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, they were not passive. They used. It's not like everything is good. All, whoever is preaching is good. No, they were very, very forceful in destroying the wrong misconceptions. Right. On one occasion, on the morning walk, there is a famous Dr. Patel who used to be with Srila Prabhupada on the morning walks. They were having a very nice conversation, and Srila Prabhupada was saying something critical about one of the well-known person of that time, or just few years before that person existed. Prabhupada was very critical about him. So this Dr. Patel, he objected to Srila Prabhupada. He asked Prabhupada, why do we have to criticize? Let them be what they are. You do your thing. So he was, and Prabhupada used to allow those kind of challenges in the morning conversations. So let them do their thing. They can just leave them alone. Why do you have to criticize? So a lot of people today say that, why do you have to criticize others? Let them do what they are. And he also said, actually, they are great souls in their own right. So just them be. If you don't agree with your philosophy, just leave them alone. This was Dr. Patel's suggestion to Srila Prabhupada. Nice suggestion, right? If we hear, in a very secular way, very nice suggestion. But Srila Prabhupada stopped. He was walking, he just stopped and said, looking at his eyes, if I am in an operating room, I am reading just exactly what Srila Prabhupada said. If I am in an operating room conducting an operation with a patient and someone comes into the room and starts cutting my patient, am I just going to stand there and watch it happen? But, yeah, he is also cutting, let it happen. No, I am going to say, get out. Prabhupada said loudly. He said very loudly, get out, you rascal, he said. So I cannot be silent. These rascals and fools have destroyed the culture of India, and therefore I must speak out. And I will speak out. Prabhupada was very, very strong in his response. So that's how Srila Prabhupada also considered this Hare Krishna movement to be like this ISKCON to be like an army of devotees who have declared war against Maya. Not really killing anyone physically. This war is not like killing anyone physically, but killing this demoniac mentality. So the devotees of Hare Krishna movement, in their war against Maya, what they are expected to kill? This demoniac mentality that is present in today's society in the form of wrong ideas, wrong spirituality, fake gurus, fake Mayavadis, Shunyavadis, who are misleading this society with wrong philosophies. So we have to be strong against it. If somebody is not following the Krishna conscious process properly, we have to speak out. Not that everything is good, let them do whatever they want. We have to protect ourselves, we have to protect the people we love. We are well-wishers. So we have to speak out, we should not be neutral. So Prabhupada never minced his words. He didn't say everything is okay, you can go and hear from anyone, you can go to anyone for devotional guidance. No, he openly opposed even the scientists who were proposing the wrong theories. He said, I cannot compromise just to please American people. He openly opposed bogus gurus, political leaders. We see his lectures, his conversations, how outspoken he was in the right sense. That's why he had to deal with so many obstructions in his preaching movement. There were brainwashing case against ISKCON. There were attacks and cheating case, cheating by so many mafias. We know the case of Juhu temple. So it was not an easy journey, and it is not going to be an easy journey when we preach out the Krishna conscious thing in the right way. So the takeaway for us is we should not be artificially sweet, just a very sweet devotee portraying ourselves very sweet to please everyone around. We have to be in the best of our Vaishnava behavior, no doubt about it. We have to be nice with everyone, but we don't have to be we don't need to accept the wrong philosophies on the name of just being neutral. So that was one point we can learn from here. So there are a lot of things. I think we have just 5 minutes left. So when we hear about Pandavas, actually once Narad Muni in a very joking way commented to Krishna that Krishna, it is very astonishing that even after going through so much suffering, we know the lives of Pandavas, how much suffering, how much unfavorable circumstances they had to go through, how much insults they had to go through. So Narad Muni was commenting that it is very, very astonishing that even after going through so much suffering, their love for you, O Krishna, has even become stronger. It has not gone down. I simply cannot imagine what kind of magic you do on your devotees. They never ever leave you. So what actually Narad Muni was saying, that Krishna's pure devotees, no matter what happens in their life, their love for Krishna, their surrender to Krishna even becomes more and more stronger. And this is true love. This is what Srila Prabhupada says. No matter what happens. So how can we do that? Or how can we follow the footsteps of Pandavas, footsteps of Bhīma? So how can one surrender like Pandavas? Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. This chapter devotees are advised to read every day in this most auspicious Purushottam month. Nirmāṇ moha jit sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivratta kamaha dvandvev mukta sukha dukha sange gachanti mudha padam vyamuñcat. The way one can develop similar kind of surrender and love for Krishna like Pandavas did, that by becoming free from false prestige, illusion, the wrong ideas, and the false association. So if one can include or one can aspire to become himself free from these 3 things, false prestige, illusion and false association, then he can become free from the dualities of happiness and distress. Then the impact, things will still happen, right? Sukh, dukh, happiness, distress will still come, but one can easily transcend them. Like in Bhagavatam comes, one who is surrendered to Krishna, one who makes Krishna his life and soul, for him crossing this ocean of world or material world is as easy as the child who crosses over the footprints of cow's baby, the footprints of calf in the rainy season. Just like a small jump, very small jump, right? Kids play in the villages. It becomes so easy. Things happens, but devotees have no impact. What happens then? Then they attain the eternal kingdom. Gachanti mudha pad avayam tat. Which kingdom? The eternal kingdom of Shri Krishna. Na tadbhasyate surya na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tadham paramam mama. Krishna says that supreme abode, where which has no material impacts, and those who reach there never come back. Krishna guarantees. And this Sankirtan movement helps in achieving this mode. In Srimad Bhagavatam, this verse comes, Nahi ataha paramo labho dehi nam bhramyatam iha. That there is no higher possible gain for embodied souls forced to wander throughout the material world than the Supreme Lord's Sankirtan movement. This verse comes in Bhagavatam. That for us who are just wandering in this material world, nothing is the highest benefit gain is given to us in the form of Sankirtan movement. Nam sudha ras gao Krishna yash rakho vachan man mora. This is what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also urging us, he is advising us. So it's 9 o'clock. I will conclude here. So Shri Bhīm Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Vidur Maharaj ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Thank you
Anyone
very
have any
much.
comments, any additions? Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you very much for a very wonderful lecture with so many examples how anger can be used productively, especially in the service of the Lord, and Bhīma especially. The other parts of him, we know about his anger, his Shaktiya capabilities. I learned something new. I knew that there were 11 Akshohinis. I did not know that Bhīma destroyed 6 of them. That's huge. A lot of soldiers, actually. Dear devotees, this is the time to unmute yourself and join in the conversation. If you have a question, if you have a takeaway, if you have some things that's reminded you about other parts of the Shastra, you can connect to what you've heard today. This is the time to unmute yourself and let's have a Krishna Katha conversation for a brief period. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Shane Prabhu, except on the basis is all glory to your Prabhupada. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Shin Prabhu.
Would you accept my whole glory, Srila Prabhupada? Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for another beautiful class. Yeah, it was really nice hearing about Bhīma and some of his qualities and pastimes. I don't really have a lot of knowledge on him. I just had, one thing I wanted to bring up is the anger. Like I struggle seeing where anger, I struggle when I see anger sometimes more elevated devotees and it seems to lower my faith in the process instead of seeing that there's transcendental reasons for anger. So thank you for sharing on some of that. Also, I wanted to ask, when it comes to things in the Bhagavatam, like you mentioned, strong as 10,000 elephants, there's other things about that explain like the size of something using a very, very astronomical number. Should we take statements like those as an exact number, or just assume that that's using a very large number to give the idea that something's very large or very powerful? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I missed your last part. Was that a question, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. I was asking, should we use, when we hear numbers like as strong as 10,000 elephants or as large as, say, some very large number, should we take those comments as being exact or just an example of like really high strength or a very large number?
Okay, yeah. Good question, Prabhu. Good point, actually. So, yeah, so some of these numbers, for example, if we talk about the structure of the universe, right, and we know how long is the Brahma's life, and how long is these all the yugas are, right? they are all mentioned in many scriptures, right? So an exact number is mentioned. So we should trust our scriptures and take them as it is. So something like this, where we say, okay, the strength of Bhīma was equal to 10,000 elephants, right? So we should not just minimize it and say, okay, maybe he was very powerful, much more than us. But yeah, 10,000, that number could be a symbolic number. But when we read Mahabharata and these pastimes where Bhīma is mentioned, then he was just not very powerful or extraordinarily powerful. He was close to, many elephants power, right? I don't know how to explain that, but I'm sure you are getting my point. So we should not minimize it just saying symbolically, but at the same time, yeah, this could be 10,000 or could be 5,000 elephants, right? That way. But he was superhuman in that sense. So based on the context, we can take those numbers. But if some number is mentioned like astronomical facts in the scriptures, then we should trust that number. And the way to develop faith in that, just like see the lives 50 years back or 100 years back, people were much more healthier than us, right? Or maybe if you read about even the people who were here in 200 years or 300 years back, they were much more sharp, more intelligent, without all this Google or social media, right? They had big, very sharp memory. So we can think that as the time is passing on, these things are coming down, right? Our height, our body, our intelligence, all is coming down. So we can think in the previous yugas, it is possible. It is said that in the upper yuga, the height of people were about 10-15 feet. Hard for us to, even think about that. But so I hope you got my point, Prabhu. I hope it helps.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Okay.
Just
If
one
not,
thing is today is Ekadashi
okay.
and in the most auspicious month of Purushottama. So
Yes.
let's observe very nicely. And Bhīma is also associated with one of the Ekadashi, which will be coming in June. Nirjala Bhīma Ekadashi. So
Yes.
Hare
Thank you very much for putting those announcements out. And I also want to remind devotees, we're less than 4 weeks away from the Rath Yatra, and please make plans to be participating in it, especially the activities that need to be done before the Rath Yatra itself starts. Contact management at the Harrisburg Temple and offer your time. And definitely, it's well over 20 grand dollars worth of this is function activity. It's the only time in the year that much money is spent for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath. And so we're requesting that the devotees definitely, if you have not contributed, please go to the website or see Madame Surya and contribute more significantly than you want to, because we are close to that time and we haven't raised that much Lakshmi yet. Even if you've contributed, you certainly can consider adding more to it, because it doesn't hurt at all. And matter of fact, what happens is that you will get more blessings from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Jagannath, if you do that. So that's the rest of the announcements. Thank you very much for coming on.
And nothing can be better than today is Ekadashi, in the most auspicious day of Purushottam month.
Yes.
Best day to do any charity especially for the purpose of Krishna. So please consider that.
Very good point. If you contribute on this day, you get even more spiritual credits for doing it. The Ekadashi gives its benefits. Purushottam, the month is once every 3 years, and we're in it now until June 15th. Until June 15th. The Rath Yatra is June 20th. And so we go through this whole thing. Everything you do in preparation for the Rath Yatra has extra spiritual credits that you get only because we're in the Purushottam month now. Yeah, thank you for making that connection. Jai. All right, so have a wonderful Krishna conscious day. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sundivya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shirupad ki
Jai.
jai. Thank
Thank you,
you
Prabhu.
again.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
everyone. Thank
Jai.
you.